My name is Katie Altier. I am a special education and English education senior, and my plans for when I graduate are to teach. I'm really excited. I cannot wait. I'm so close. How do I identify myself in regards to race? Um, I was brought up in a family that doesn't really like to highlight race, gender, ethnicity as the key characteristics of someone. So this question makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I don't even like checking them off on the boxes on surveys. But if I had to say something, I would say I identify myself as Caucasian. That's primarily because I have very pale skin and freckles, but you know. How much of your identity do you think derives from your genetic ancestry, if any? I think a small portion of it does. My family as a whole is very into talking about our background and where we came from. So I know a lot about my family history. I know I'm primarily Norwegian, Italian, Armenian, German, English, and Scottish. There are probably a couple other things thrown in there, but I personally don't know about them. But at the same time, I don't think that my identity is completely based on my genetic ancestry. I was basically raised by my stepmother, Kathy. Since she's been living with my family since I was 7, so I see a lot of my identity as an effect from her and how she brought me and how she raised me. We're very similar in the choices we make in life and our beliefs, our learning styles, just things we like to do, and things we don't like to do. She was here as a English ed major back in the 70s, so I really do identify my identity a lot with her because she really did raise me to be the person that I am. Why did I partake in the DNA testing? I really did just want to kind of confirm what my family had told me, because we do talk about this a lot, and it would be really interesting to see, what the breakdown actually is, especially because there are some areas we're not quite certain of. We don't know exactly how much Scottish I am or English I am because it comes from both sides of my family. So I think it would be very interesting to get a better breakdown than what I actually have. Which races would you be surprised to see in your results? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if anything turned up. I think if I had just taken the DNA test and not taken the class, I definitely would have been surprised if maybe Asian or African or Middle Eastern shown up. But what this class has caused me to realize is that we're all connected genetically. We're all a part of this continuum because we all originated from somewhere. So there should be a little bit of just about everything in us. I would probably be surprised by Native American just because, as far as I know, my family on both sides came over to Ellis Island. So as far as I know, they all came and originated in Europe. So that would surprise me a little bit, but I don't think I'll be shocked or appalled by anything either. Do you anticipate a shift in your self-perception after seeing your results? No, because again, my identity is really founded upon what my family has taught me, not so much what my genetic history is. I think that my grandfather really speaks true to this when he says that, we're all a part of genetics to some extent, but eventually we start making our own choices and reflecting what our family has taught us. I really see myself as an extension of that, especially with how my relationship is with my stepmom. What do you hope to learn about yourself and your family? I really do just want to confirm the stories that they've been telling me because I think it's really fun to kind of backtrack and learn all that. So I think the DNA testing can do that for me, but I also think the DNA testing can kind of give me another road to go down because I've been researching my family history for a while, so I don't really know where to go next because I'm kind of at a point where I've hit a dead end. Who have you spoken to about your ancestry? Did they provide you with any new information? Well, my grandparents on my dad's side are really big into this, and so are my grandparents on my biological mother's side. I've been talking to them a lot, but I've been doing this since I was in high school, so this stuff isn't necessarily new to me so much as I'm just kind of rediscovering all about my family history and remembering some things that I kind of forgotten about. And I think that's the one really cool thing about this class is it gives you an opportunity to do something you're interested in, but you may not necessarily have the time.
So I got my results from the DNA test back, and there were some shocks, but not too many. They told me I'm 77% European, which makes a lot of sense because that's what my family genealogy tells me. It told me I was about 9% Middle Eastern, which that also makes sense based on family background. But then they told me I was 10% Hispanic, which that's definitely a little bit of a shock. I have absolutely no idea where that came from, but I'm very curious. I want to find out. Um, I guess it's just a shock because my family stories don't indicate that at all. Um, they really kind of say that we came over from Europe and um, went to either Ellis Island or came over a little bit earlier than that, but not much. So I'm wondering how that got mixed in. I have no regrets about taking the test. I think it was definitely a worthwhile decision, and I think my views on race or identity didn't necessarily change because of my results, but they've definitely changed because of the class. Um, a lot of what we talk about, I just wouldn't have thought of on my own. So talking about it, it makes it a little bit, it makes it a little different for me. It makes it eye-opening, and I wouldn't have expected that otherwise. When I told my family about my results, I had two very different reactions. My parents were just kind of like neutral about it. They didn't really seem to care one way or the other. My grandparents on my dad's side really want to take a DNA test now. They want to know where this comes from. They actually kind of want to claim the Hispanic side as their own, so that's very interesting. But then my mom's side of the family, when I told my grandmother about it, she was quiet for a good 5 minutes on the phone, and I kind of had to be like, "Grandma, you there?" Um, and eventually she answered, but I don't think she's too happy about it. I think that it's going to shake up her world a little bit. Even my mom was a little bit stunned, and my grandfather on that side was also a bit stunned. Um, so I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm going to do some research. It's going to be good.